Okay, it is now 11:58 a.m. and we are back in open session. We will go to item number 3, discuss and take appropriate action on termination of term employment contract, teacher, Chapin High School. Do we have a motion?
I move that the board terminate Mr. Orlando Solis's term employment contract as a teacher effective immediately.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. We will now then, and I'm sorry, I apologize. Mr. Josh Acevedo showed up while we were in closed session, and he did participate in the discussion, and therefore he participated in the action. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so now we will go to item number 4. Discuss and take appropriate action on approval of tuition rates for 2023-2024 school year. Ms. Saavedra?
Yes, thank you, President Velarde and trustees. We're bringing this item to this meeting for your consideration. We've opened the window for registration as of yesterday, April 3rd. And so as we continue to market and communicate to the public what our offerings are, we want to make sure that we are able to communicate accurate information. And so we're bringing to you a consideration of proposed tuition rates for out-of-state and any and then a provision for non-qualifying pre-K 3 students. So I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Macias so she can share the proposal with you very briefly.
President Velarde, Ms. Saavedra, members of the board, I'm here today to share with you our proposed 2023-2024 tuition rates. One of the things I will share with you is out-of-state tuition for our students, out-of-state for employees, in-state non-qualifying students, CCTE students, which are students that come from other districts, and our child development laboratories. And with that, I included some backup documentation to share. Our out-of-state, this is how we've calculated out-of-state in the past. And for the out-of-state, what we generally do, and I'm looking through my quick notes. Of course, I have Mr. Byers here just to make sure that I get this correctly. We use our near final summary of finances, and what we did is we used our 2021-2022 document, and with that we're able to calculate our out-of-state tuition rates. The proposed rates are as follows: $1,024 monthly from kindergarten through senior through 12th grade. Pre-K 3 and Pre-K 4 full day, that is calculated by TA provides us a maximum tuition rate that we're able to afford, or we're able to provide or request, and that rate will be $718.60 monthly, and that would be for Pre-K 3 and Pre-K 4 full day for out-of-state students. Pre-K 3 half day, again, that is provided, those guidelines are provided by TEA, and that is $359.30 monthly. Out-of-state per individual course, using the near final summary of finances, our out-of-state individual course recommendation is at $205. And our in-state non-qualifying students and our out-of-state employee child, our recommendation is for Pre-K 4 that we continue to provide that free for all students. We call that universal Pre-K 4. And that's what we're currently doing in all of our elementary and K-8 campuses. Our recommendation today is for Pre-K 3 for half day that we also provide free half day tuition for all students. So Pre-K 3 half day will also, our recommendation is for it to be universal, free. For Pre-K 3 full day, our recommendation for non-qualifying students would be $275 a month. And the way that we calculated that is we got the basic yearly allotment, we multiplied that times the ADA that our littles usually come into, which is 89.3% ADA, and we calculated it at half day. And with that, our recommendation is that $275 a month, and that would be for Pre-K 3 students that do not qualify and I'll share with you the 13 criteria that we use to qualify our Pre-K. That's TA criteria. We are recommending that $275 a month. If students qualify, they would have free full-day Pre-K 3 with us. And I had previously shared with you all the campuses that we are offering the half-day and full-day, and I'll go over those in just a second. The other two items for your approval is the CCTE out of district, and that would be $200 a month. And the child development laboratories, that's the programs that we have at our high schools for our littlest of littles, and we've consistently charged $80 a month for those students. Over to the right, you could see the 23-24 scheduled tuition payments. We all of the rates that I shared with you monthly, that's for 10 months. And it would start August 7, which is the first business day of our new calendar year. So in summary, recommendation free pre-K3 half day for all students, pre-K free pre-K4 full day for all students, tuition-based pre-K3 full day for qualified students, and our recommendation is for it to be free, and non-qualifying students $275 a month. These are the qualifying criteria. These are provided by TEA, and there's 13 guidelines. Age 3 by September 1st, not speak or understand English, free and reduced price lunch program, homeless, and so on and so forth. So these are the qualifying criteria that we have. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to clarify for the previous slide. Can you go to the previous slide?
Yes, sir.
For non-qualifying students, that's any pre-K3 full-day non-qualifying student, whether they're in a traditional pre-K3 classroom or the Montessori classroom, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
And only 3-year-olds? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And one thing that was asked during our last meeting together is, how did we get the information on identifying some of the program expansion that we had for El Paso ISD? And what we did is we used our early childhood education data that is from UTEP, which is our El Paso Collaborative. And with that, this identifies the information by zip code. Our amazing ASAP team is getting all that information to you all for a board update down to the zip code, but this just shows you the information that we received just kind of at a global level. We will be providing you a report that shares by zip code how many students we have. So for example, this is a density map that we have. So in the 79903 zip code, which is Central East area, we have 154.7 students per square mile. So it's kind of a density. Northeast, we have the 79924, 79904 zip codes that have a higher density, 79912 on the west side, 79901 in our central south area. So with that information, if you notice the heat map, we were able to identify and recommend our half-day and full-day sections in those areas. So for this coming year, as I had mentioned before, we're going to have our 1 Montessori at Moreno. We're going to have our 4 extended day pre-Ks, which will offer our full day. That'll be at Zach White, Aoy, Whitaker, and Cielo Vista. We're going to have 8 full day pre-K3 sections, and those are the sections that have the red dot. The last time that I provided you a map, I think it was a little harder to read, so therefore we wanted to be able to give you a better view of how we've identified geographically our campuses that'll offer half day and full day. And again, we have 16 of our campuses that'll offer the half-day pre-K3 within their campuses. One question that came up is, we're going to offer, and we're going to continue to offer, our universal pre-K4. Based on the information right now, about 11-12% of our students, we offer universal already to pre-K4. 11 to 12% of our students currently don't qualify. So we're assuming that that would be the same amount for pre-K3. We wanted to know what that impact was. So if you have a classroom of 22 students, about 12%, that would be about 2 point something seats. So about 2 to 3 of our students don't qualify per class. However, as we look at data, usually we have that amount of seats that are available or left open. Sometimes we don't have all the 22 seats taken in a class, so therefore it's a balance. What we're doing with our recommended tuition is truly to afford this opportunity to all students. We know early child education is key for them to come in, because once they come with us, our campuses do a great job of keeping them. So this will also help us stabilize enrollment, and not just that, ensuring that our students are getting the best education early on. At 36 months old, they are sponges, so we need them here with us versus any other programs. I know that oftentimes when parents take them elsewhere, it's very difficult to get them back, so we want them to start with us from the beginning. And with that, at this time, I would ask for your approval or recommendation or any questions.
Any questions by board members? Mr. Riboli?
I'd just like to, I know I asked last board meeting, I think it was in March, if I could sit down with you and staff to kind of understand a little bit more the placement of the campuses and the long-term thought and plan behind that. If we can still just get that on the books, I'd greatly appreciate it. Outside that, I mean, this looks great. Again, early education to me is the most important. When you look at the cost of what it, any of the daycares in the area, it's significantly lower. You get the extra services that come with being a school district. It gets our families in earlier, and that gets them tied to the class, the cohort that they come in with. So just very happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr.
Yeah, quick
Hanani?
question on the extended day programs. At the campuses that don't have the extended day programs that are being provided by the district, are there still partnerships in place for extended day for all of those campus for students?
What we could do is we could provide you all of the listing of what we have, and we have multiple programs at different campuses, and we have that. I know that Dr. Gonzalez and her team, they have a list already for every single campus. I just can't just verbatim share
Okay.
all of them with you, but we will get you that information. So the answer to that is yes. We have multiple organizations that help us with after school. This extended day learning center will be something that we are creating here with El Paso ISD, and it's going to be 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So that's something that we're really excited about, and not just that, it'll be tied directly to our curriculum, providing opportunities for students to have guided after school with fine arts or different extracurricular activities within the afternoon. And extracurricular is the wrong day, but enrichment activities. And then also if they need help with homework, they're going to be guided after school and before school opportunities. I know I butchered that a little bit, Dr.
So-
I know that's just
so-
on your realm.
Let me kind of interject here.
Thank you.
So we do have extensive after-school programming at a number of our different sites, especially for our families who, typically qualify for subsidized childcare. And it comes to them at no cost. We have partnerships with the Boys and Girls Club. We have partnerships with YWCA. In addition to that, going into this next year, we're piloting what we would call extended day for before and after school care, because we know that there are opportunities for us to provide that service that may come at a slightly lower cost than having families have to go to private daycare, and it's convenient, especially for families that have two working parents and need to be able to drop their children off at school, have them go through the school day, extend that service to after school, and then, pick them up, at their leisure. I think that aside from our families, we're really looking to pilot that as a service for our employees as well, as an additional benefit that employees' children would have access to before and after school care, which would reduce possibly what they would be spending at a private daycare. And again, as an additional cost and a service to our employees. Our intent is to have these extended day services open even during holiday times. So during professional learning days, during the November break, during the December break, during intersession times, those 2 weeks in October, those 2 weeks in March. Again, families and service for our employees, so.
So I guess the last question regarding that would be, are there plans to expand this program so that there's extended day learning at every campus? Okay.
Right, so we're piloting, and we may be able to scale within the year, next year, because there are things that we are working towards in terms of licensing and things of that nature, so that children and families who do qualify can get the subsidized care at no charge, but those who don't, that, we have a tuition structure, if you will, for that, or a payment structure, if you will, for that, not tuition.
Thank you.
Ms.
So,
Sayeveda? Excuse me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with your staff, Ms. Macias, regarding this. To me, this is a great customer service program that we can provide for our children and for those that are, for the families that really need it. So thank you again for giving me the time to have Ms. Macias provide all the other questions that I had with this, and I appreciate you making it more understandable for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So just really quickly in closing, I have to echo the sentiments of the other trustees. It's very, very exciting time for the district, expanding the pre-K programming and also providing extended care opportunities at a great, great value to our families and our neighborhood children. So I'm really excited, just as the other trustees are. Thank you for making this a priority, and it's clear that this will continue to have a lot of board support. So thank you for all your work on this.
Okay, any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None in opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We will now go to item number 5, discuss and take appropriate action on resolution regarding vouchers, education savings accounts, taxpayer savings grants, and other mechanisms that reduce public education funding in the state of Texas, County of El Paso. Ms. Saavedra.
Yes, President Velarde and trustees, as you know, the legislature is in session. There are several bills that have been proposed associated with vouchers and, individual plans. And so we have drafted a resolution for you to consider so that as a school district and as trustees, you can make a statement about your opposition to vouchers, being considered at the state level in terms of legislation. So that's the resolution that's before you today. President Velarde, do you have any remarks or any additional information that you'd like to share in terms of information that you've received specifically as a board member?
Well, I think it's clear that that vouchers are a direct threat to public education across the state of Texas. I think I share for myself that I think that the result of implementing vouchers will not only harm public school districts, but will just harm education in general across the state of Texas. And so with that said, I'm very much supportive that we as a board make our voice known and share with the Texas legislature the impact that this would have upon our communities. And I think there's very limited, if any, benefit for a voucher system be put in place. It's just something that I don't believe is what's in the best interest of students across the state of Texas, and certainly not here at El Paso Independent School District. So I'm happy to entertain any other questions, comments by board members at this time.
My only thing is I don't know if we want to do it for this one or just in the future, make it a little bit more personal to EPISD. So EPISD is an open district. We can go to any campus in EPISD. I know it talks about school choices as far as there's charter schools, private schools, homeschool, things of that nature in there. But in the future, as we move forward on these legislative issues, I think if we just do a blanket TASB one, it just kind of, we sign a letter that everyone does. If we add in just some personalized information to our district, it actually shows why we're against it. Talk about our demographics, our approach, why it's different for Austin versus Houston versus El Paso. I think they need to have that kind of perspective. I'm fine with how it is today, but I do think, knowing that we're an open district, you go to any of our campuses, if you so choose, is an option. That's something that's just important for people to understand.
Well, and thank you for that feedback, Mr. Irabali. And, as the session continues to unfold, we do have representation that can share particular perspectives specific to El Paso ISD. And we can always submit additional information in the form of letters to especially our legislative, representation here in El Paso who represent us, in the Senate and in the House, along with, other legislative representatives, from other areas of the state. So, so this is one of many things, that we can do in terms of a call to action to oppose that type of legislation.
To that end, it may be nice to then follow up with a letter with this resolution attached, kind of detailing some of those personalized facts about EPISD, to send out to not only our delegation, but I think the entire legislature as we start looking at this becoming more of a reality with the hearings occurring this week into next week and so on and so forth.
And
Thank you.
Trustee Arabali, just so you know that this resolution was slightly modified to mention the property poor districts such as EPISD at the suggestion of our lobbyist, Paul Colbert. But to the extent that you want more personalized information about the district, we can certainly do that in the future.
Any comments?
I just
Discussion?
wanted to add to what Trustee Arabali was saying. Because El Paso is so unique in all our needs, it would be beneficial for us to really highlight those, for those that don't know how difficult it is on our side of the state versus central and rural areas. Yeah.
Well, and I do understand that there is a large contingency of rural school districts that are also opposing this type of legislation, so.
Okay. There being no other comments or questions, do I have a motion?
Thank you.
Ms. Hanani's motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. Acevedo, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That then takes us to our adjournment, item 6. This special board meeting is now adjourned at 12:20 p.m. We will reconvene in 5 minutes so that we can set up the budget workshop.
Yep.
And we will be right back.